Hello and welcome back to World 360. Is China inching closer towards formal recognition of the Taliban? What's the significance of Russia's outreach to the Middle East amid the Israel-Hamas war? We answer these and more in today's episode. So first up, is China inching towards formal recognition of the Taliban? Well, on Tuesday, the Chinese Foreign Ministry said it believes Afghanistan should not be excluded from the international community. As a long-standing friendly neighbor of Afghanistan, China believes that Afghanistan should not be excluded from the international community. We believe that diplomatic recognition of the Afghan government will come naturally as the concerns of various parties are effectively addressed, the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin told reporters. This was in response to reports that, or rather questions about reports that China had accepted the credentials of a Taliban-appointed diplomat, Bilal Karimi, who previously served as the deputy spokesman at the Taliban-led Information Ministry. Last Friday, Afghanistan's Taliban government announced that China had formally accepted its ambassador to Beijing, hailing the move as an important chapter. The acting Taliban Foreign Ministry statement said that Hong Lai, the Director General of the Protocol Department of the Chinese Foreign Ministry, accepted the copy of credentials from the Taliban-appointed diplomat. The announcement, however, is yet to be confirmed by China. Now, why does all of this matter? Well, for starters, it comes 2 months after China appointed a new ambassador to Afghanistan, Zhao Sheng. This development had raised some eyebrows at the time, as it seemed to signal China's readiness to engage formally with the Taliban. At the time, Zhao was warmly received by the Taliban officials, and acting Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi called his appointment a significant step carrying a significant message. China attempted to downplay this development, calling it a normal rotation of ambassadors. It's important to remember, however, that China is not the only country that continues to have a diplomatic presence in Kabul. At least 6 other countries, Qatar, Russia, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan, have also kept their ambassadors in the war-torn nation. But also, let's not forget that no country has officially recognized the Taliban regime, at least this time around. This is different from the time when Taliban had first come into power in the mid-1990s, and only Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE had officially recognized it as the legitimate government of Afghanistan at the time. But this time around, a few circumstances have changed. Pakistan, for example, which has been a traditional ally of the Taliban, now finds itself at odds with them. In fact, today there are tensions between the Taliban and Pakistan, mainly because of the TTP, or the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which appears to be cozying up with the Afghan Taliban. But the reason China's forays into Afghanistan are interesting is because this country is clearly strategic for Beijing. Afghanistan is strategically located at the intersection between Central Asia, South Asia, and the Middle East. It is at times considered the center of Asia's connectivity and once served as a junction on the Silk Road route. Major regional players, whether it's India, China, or Pakistan, understand the strategic potential of Afghanistan when it comes to connectivity or infrastructure projects. The deposits of critical minerals in Central Asia also make Afghanistan one of the countries that is attractive, at least as a partner for these regional players. The US's withdrawal from Afghanistan has arguably left a vacuum for regional powers like China to make the inroads that we're now seeing today. So could all of these reasons lay enough ground for China to become the first country in the world to officially recognize the Taliban? Let's wait and see. For our second topic, we're decoding Russia's outreach to the Middle East, especially with Russian President Vladimir Putin's visit to Saudi Arabia and the UAE this week, and plans to host the Iranian president as well. Energy and the Israel-Hamas war is likely to dominate talks between Putin and top leaders in Saudi Arabia and the UAE. On the energy front, global oil prices will definitely be a hot topic of discussion, since Russia, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE are all members of the OPEC+, which is a group of oil-producing countries. Just last week, this group agreed to cut their output, which is likely to drive up oil prices, something that is sure to irk the US and the West. The Israel-Hamas war is also a key topic for Putin during his travels to these 2 Middle Eastern countries. The war has definitely served as a stick with which Russia has been beating the West, especially the US. Russia has also attempted to play peacemaker on the world stage by calling for a ceasefire in Gaza at the United Nations. This despite Russia's continued invasion of Ukraine. Now, in October, Russia had invited a Hamas delegation to Moscow, which raised a lot of eyebrows. Let's not forget that Hamas's main ally in the region is Iran, which is also Russia's ally. In fact, Iran has been accused of selling weapons to Russia to embolden its war machine against Ukraine. That's why Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi's visit to Russia this week is significant. Raisi will make a one-day visit to Moscow on Thursday for talks with Putin. And what will be high on the agenda? Well, bilateral economic cooperation as well as the situation in Gaza, the Kremlin said in a statement earlier this week. Russia and Iran have also deepened their relationship as two countries facing a raft of Western sanctions. For our last topic, we're looking at why Ukraine is accusing Poland of stabbing it in the back over a trucker protest. For a couple of months now, Polish truckers have blocked roads to 3 border crossings between Poland and Ukraine. Polish truckers who are at the helm of this blockade say they are facing disruptions and a loss of business due to exemptions given to Ukrainian truckers. Now, since February 2022, when the Ukraine-Russia war began, Ukrainian truckers have been exempt from seeking permits to cross the Polish border, resulting in an uncontrolled inflow of Belarusian, Russian and Ukrainian companies and trade. Therefore, Polish truckers feel they've got the short end of the stick. A similar complaint was earlier seen with Polish farmers who won concessions from their government after complaining about a flood of cheap Ukrainian grain imports. Now, the blockade by Polish truckers has resulted in a major blow to the flow of Ukrainian trade. In fact, the Federation of Employees of Ukraine estimates the national economy has lost at least 400 million euros over this truckers' protest. The situation is also geopolitically sensitive because Poland has been one of Ukraine's most steadfast supporters during its war against Russia. Just last month, Ukraine's ambassador to Poland said in a tweet that the blockage by Polish truckers was a painful stab in the back of Ukraine, which is suffering Russian aggression. The situation has reached new diplomatic heights, with the EU now threatening legal action against Poland. In fact, the European Commission has sharply criticized the Polish trucker protest, while Poland has demanded the restoration of EU limits on Ukrainian truckers. Though the EU has suggested some technical measures to ease the tensions, lifting exemptions on Ukrainian truckers seems out of the question for the bloc because it was part of an international agreement signed with Ukraine. Thanks for watching. This is Pia Krishnankutty for ThePrint.